Well, hello, hello, hello. All right, we are learning a new bit. We are learning a new bit of software here. So please bear with me. I'm using a new bit of software here for the live stream. As you can see up in the corner here, we are using what's called StreamYard. Hopefully, it gives me a little bit more functional control over what's going on. How you doing, classy lady? Bit of chat. How you doing? I hope you got that CD already, Miss Terry. As you see, we got the StreamYard. Uh, you can join the live stream, and you can have you can be there, where everybody can see you as well. Classy lady, I'm glad to have you with. I am a truck driver, so some of the topics we got to cover here are about truck driving, living in the truck, dealing with those situations. So, more than happy to answer any question about trucking in any way, shape, or form that I can possibly answer. I've been driving for just about 2.5 years. I have a pretty good amount of experience with different varieties of truck driving. Pardon me. I don't know it all. I'm going to make that very clear. I do not know it all. I just act like I do. So, today I am coming to you from, where the heck am I? Oh, Madera, California. Right here off of California 99. Hopefully so. I mean, it should have been delivered already. But I'll have to look and see what's going on with that. All right, but like I said, I've been out in California since last Saturday, not this previous Saturday, last Saturday, where I came in from Arizona on I-10 all the way down the south, stopped in Thousand Palms for the night. They're just on the west side of Palm Springs, about an hour or so west of Los Angeles, or east of Los Angeles. Came up the I-10 to 210 to I-5, took that north all the way up to Sacramento, where I stopped Sunday night. Stayed Sunday night, all day Monday into Tuesday morning, made a delivery Tuesday morning. Then from Tuesday until today, I've been sitting and waiting for my new load. I stayed up in Dunnigan, California for about 3 days. Friday, I got my load assigned to me, so I came 180 miles south down here to Madera, where I've been waiting for, since Friday afternoon until Monday morning tomorrow. So, we are getting a load tomorrow, nice and early, about 7 a.m.-ish. I'm getting over to my shipper, where we will be grabbing the load. It is a cooling tower base. So that's going to be, we're going to be working with permits. So we're going to be a wide load, 14-foot wide. And then we're going to be going on from there nice and easy. You know, we're taking this load out to Dallas, Texas. Basically, right in the middle towards the south between Dallas and Fort Worth. We're going to be over near Duncanville, you know, that neighborhood. Pardon me. So, and we don't deliver until next Monday. So we got about approximately 1,700 miles to drive. We have basically a full 7 days to get it there. Now, they're not taking it early, unfortunately. But we're praying that it does, because myself and there are 4 other, you know, drivers from my company at this same truck stop waiting for a load on Monday. A couple of them are coming to where I'm loading, so at least 3 of us out of 5 are getting pretty much the same load. So what we're all waiting for the same load, roughly at the same time, going to the same place. So we've all been waiting for a while. No problem. Bit of chat. You have a good evening. Just have, you know, God bless for everything you do, and talk to you later. Have a good day. So yeah, other than that, you know, it's just been mind-numbing boredom this past week. I'll have the next weekend off, at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be off for another 3 days, pretty much doing nothing. Let's see here. So the sun just went down a little bit ago out here in California. You know, been kind of in the lazy do nothing mode because I got nothing to do. So I got a couple videos edited. I'm working on another one right now. But of course, it's being interrupted by the by the live stream. But for the most part, I got a couple videos posted today. So a little bit. A little bit of pardon me, a little bit of a squirrel going on here. Excuse me. Oh, I got to check that in a bit. All right, but other than that, it's just one of them weeks that it's just there was nothing. They couldn't find anything that was actually viable for me to do. So the only real topic that I had any desire to talk about, which when I was going through my video of the that I've shot for the vlog, it's a sore spot for me when it comes to truck drivers. Why it's so difficult for some of them to not act like complete, vulgar, disgusting animals. The last video that I just posted recently, it's in there. You have a truck driver who is less than 100 feet away from a perfectly acceptable and accessible bathroom. Yet, this guy chose to just urinate next to his truck out in the parking lot. And I've called it out on the video several times, and I have called some of these people's companies when they do things like that. If there's an actual company name on the side that I can look up and call their office, I do call their managers, their safety department or whatever, and I tell them what kind of behavior their employee is up to. We are not living, out in the middle of nowhere in a Stone Age society. We are supposed to be higher forms of life. We have certain distinguishing qualities as a living being that separates us from all the other animals, plants, bacteria, fungi on the planet. We have a consciousness. We have sentience. We are aware of our own mortality at a different level than other animals are. They react to their mortality being threatened because it is fear. They act on an instinctual level. We act on a conscious level when it comes to our morality. Or not morality, mortality. Sorry. Kind of speaking cross purposes there. Bulliest Life, thank you very much. So when I see a supposedly grown adult man who's lived his entire life in a culture and a society where public urination is frowned upon, I have a visceral distaste for this human being. He can't say that he just couldn't make it. He couldn't say that the bathrooms were closed or there was absolutely nowhere else to do that. He really, I seriously doubt he has a medical condition which necessitated him getting out of his truck to go urinate outside in the parking lot. I'm not trying to gross anybody out. I'm not trying to insult people. I'm not trying to, to do anything other than to give you the unvarnished truth. This is one of those things that truck drivers in particular have to deal with. You're not always where you can pull your truck over or where you can stop, where you can, get to where you can get to a bathroom. Because sometimes, the human body is the human body. Sometimes your bladder says, I have to go now. You don't have time to walk inside. Not trying to put any brand out there, but this is an empty sports drink bottle. Basic human male anatomy allows you to use this to empty your bladder. It's got a lid on it. You open it up, you do your business, you put the lid back on, nice and tight. It's not going to leak all over the truck. It's not going to smell. It's not going to make a mess. You dispose of it later on. But you have people out there, truck drivers, who just for some reason have this mental defect. To hell with basic courtesy. To hell with basic decency. To hell with basic self-respect. I'm just going to whip it out and urinate right here, right next to the truck in this parking lot where there are women and children walking around at times. Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they can't see you. Like I said, we are not living in a society where that's acceptable. We're living in a society where that is explicitly frowned upon from basic manners, 2, codified into law. Every single state in the union has a law against public urination. Every single one of them. Every single city has a law against public urination. Now, whether or not they enforce it, like San Francisco, places like that where they just gave up on enforcing the law. But still, we live in a culture society where public urination is frowned upon. Yet too many truck drivers feel that it's perfectly okay to do that. I've called at least 3 companies and called a manager, called a supervisor, called a safety director, whatnot. Gave them the truck number, gave them a trailer number, gave them a license number, gave them where I was, what I witnessed. I just find it amazing that these people think that that's okay. It like I said, I'm kind of at a loss to understand how you think that it's perfectly okay to act like like an animal. I don't get it. I said every single truck driver knows that they're going to be driving long hours. They may not get to a truck stop or a restaurant or Walmart, wherever they can park, or they can't get off on the shoulder of the highway and grab a bottle like this that they've already drank the contents out of and use it. I don't fault a single truck driver for having to use a bottle to relieve themselves. Not one. Every truck driver does it. Because it's just one of the things. You're not always where you can get off the road in a safe place and do your business. From the very first truck drivers, bottles like this have been used. Why is it so hard for some truck drivers? You may not like these drinks. That's fine. Get yourself a bottle of water. Everybody needs water. Well, that is true, Bulliest Life. I mean, right where I'm sitting right now is a perfect example of that. Well, okay, so I got here to California Saturday. The bathrooms going up to Sacramento, all of them were working. Not a problem. The bathroom, once I made my delivery, the pilot there in Dunnigan, California, was the bathroom, the toilet rooms were fully functional. There was no laundry functioning. There were no showers functioning on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because they're doing renovations. So no showers, no laundry facility. That's fully functional. Which, that's probably one of the number one things that a truck driver needs. Functioning showers. But if you're renovating, most people can accept that. We understand you're doing construction work. We can get by. There's my shower for the past several days. Baby wipes. Doesn't do a great job, but does a good enough job so you aren't reeking and stinking like you're from a sewer. Not pleasant. I don't particularly enjoy baby wipes for a quote unquote bath, but you do what you got to. But Friday I get my load assigned to me. I drive 180 miles south from Dunnigan, California, down here in Madera. The hot water is not working, so no showers. It's been at least 3 days that the water's not been working. Why? But at least the toilets work, the sink works, and the laundry works. But when you are at a truck stop or you pull into a Walmart or wherever you're at, and they have a functioning bathroom. And especially because this guy was a local guy. This guy was a local guy. You know, he knew the truck stop. He's a local guy, yet instead of just not being an ignorant, lazy pile of garbage and just walking right inside, less than 100 feet, 20 seconds, he would have been inside, and he could use the toilet in there. No, he's outside in the parking lot, middle of the day, and not even using a bottle outside his truck, just right on the ground. It doesn't make much sense to me. It just doesn't make a whole lot of actual sense to me why you think that that's acceptable. And that's my topic for the day. It's one of those sides of truck driving that's not pleasant. And if this guy actually had a phone number on the truck, had an office I could report him to, I would have. I've done it before. And I've sent those companies photographic evidence of what this guy was doing. And I've done my rants on the vlog. What's wrong with you that you think that kind of stuff is acceptable? I mean, I had one guy, I backed into my spot. This guy comes, first of all, he's driving too fast, comes driving in, pulls head in the spot right next to me, and then gets out his door, standing on his steps, and starts urinating right there. What the hell? I had one guy, you walk right past him. Hello, Mona. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. This is a bit different than your channel, Mona, but I do appreciate it. This is about trucking for the most part. So if you have any questions about truck driving, anything about that, feel free to ask that question. You can also join the stream if you want using the StreamYard link. But like I said, some people are just not using their brains. And even if they were using their brains, it's not difficult to actually just have the slightest bit of consideration for somebody else. And these are probably the same people that cry and complain about having to get out of their door and dumping their coffee out, dumping their food out, brushing their teeth and spitting it out the window. All that to me is unacceptable as a truck driver. Everybody knows their bodily functions. We all have a no problem with that. But it's how you act while doing those normal things. But there's too many of us out here who just seem to lack that basic courtesy, those basic manners, that basic etiquette that I hope we were instilled with as a child. And if your parents didn't instill that in you, you should have learned it just by growing up and seeing what society says is an acceptable way to behave. Walking around just punching somebody in the face is not acceptable. We also have laws against that. Now, we do have people out there that violate those laws every single day. We know that. Pardon me. But it's still, I still find it mind-boggling that so-called grown adults. Now, I use the term adult in a loose manner because, A, they've only aged. They didn't grow up. They only got older. They didn't mature. They didn't become, respectable people. And unfortunately, there's far too many of them out there. And it gives the rest of us who try to act in a decent manner a bad name, a bad reputation. And all I can do when I have somebody say, you truck drivers are this, you truck drivers are that, it's like, I'm sorry that you have that image of me, but, I don't do those things. I don't throw my bodily waste out the window. I don't throw my trash on the out there. When I'm done with this cup, it's going to go into a trash can. It doesn't go on the ground. It doesn't get left on somebody else's truck. It gets disposed of properly. And when the trash can at the truck stop is overflowing, I take my 2 little feet, this little thing right here, I take my little feet and I walk inside. Hey, trash cans outside are overflowing. Could you have somebody come and tend to it? I would like to throw away my trash. Not hard to do. I understand if they're understaffed. I understand if it's freezing cold outside. I understand if it's raining. I understand if it's 108 degrees. I'm not demanding that they coddle to me. I just want them to do their job. So that I, as a responsible person, don't do what other people are doing and throw my trash out my driver's window. Somebody else will pick it up. That's just not acceptable. I don't litter. I don't throw my bodily waste out the window, which unfortunately far too many do. I don't spit my toothpaste out the window. I don't throw a bag of feces out the window. I don't throw a cup of urine out the window. I don't throw my cigarette butts out there. I don't throw any of my other trash out there. I don't throw food out there. I don't leave garbage out there when I'm doing work on my truck, doing a little repair or whatnot. I obey the laws of the road. I obey the morals and mores of society. I just try to act like a decent human being. Now, like I said, unfortunately, far too many truck drivers turn that little part in their brain off. I'm tired. I don't want to do that. Throw it out there. Screw that. Somebody else will pick it up. And that's why truck stops are disgusting places to be. When I step outside my truck and I'm walking on the asphalt or concrete and it's sticky, the revulsion in me just swells right up. It's like, who was the disgusting pile of garbage who did this? It wasn't the people that work there at the truck stop. It was a truck driver who did that. Well, let me rephrase that. 99.555 something percent of it is a truck driver who did that. Now, unfortunately, there are people who are on vacation in their travel trailers, in their RVs, who do exactly the same thing. But that's a tiny, tiny sliver. Unfortunately, I've seen it. You're dumping your black water tank, your gray water tank, right on the ground. Sickening. that I you know I get their foul language and their attitudes over the CB. Not necessary. We got them throwing their garbage and their bodily fluids and bodily matter out the windows, right on the ground. I mean, I wish more of them would stop and just take the smallest, tiniest smidgen of of of, of courtesy and not do that. It's like if I build up a lot of trash in the truck and I have no place to throw it because all the trash cans are full, guess what? That trash stays in my truck. And until I get to a place that I can throw it away properly, that's where it stays. When I break out, my kitchen, and I cook dinner, I got peelings, I got ends, I got trimmings, I got, I build up a little bit of trash. I got a little bit of packaging and that stuff, eggshells and, ends of carrots and, things of that nature and peels and rinds and, whatnot. I don't take that and just throw it out the window. I mean, it goes into a nice little bag, tie it up, stick it up in the front until I can attend to it and throw it away properly. It's an easy thing. I mean, I just wonder, do these people do this at their own house? When they go home, are they just, hey, it's in the bathroom's right over there. No, I'm just going to go right behind the couch here and use the bathroom right here. No, they don't. Well, at least I hope they don't. I mean, I have to wonder. They have no damn courtesy for other people. I mean, why would they have any self-respect? They don't display it when they're out in public. Why would they do it when they're alone? All right, well, that's pretty much my little rant on the subject. I mean, half an hour of that is probably more than enough. So vent, let it go with that, so if anybody has a question, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer it. I got it off my chest, so I'll let it go till I see the next incident, and go from there. All right, well, tonight we had an early dinner around about 3:30. I had made an early dinner. I had a salad from the Flying J, little side salad. Put some of the fixings that I had from when I made burritos the other night: onion, cheese, bacon, some green onion, a little bit of red pepper, some extra lettuce. I put all that onto my salad. Made that a little bit better than just the plain little side salad that you get from Pilot. Had me a little bit of tortilla with it as my bread. So it wasn't too bad. I mean, I couldn't decide on what to make, so I just had a salad. Something simple, something easy. And it went just it was good enough for the night. I really wasn't, quote unquote, that hungry. So sitting down and really preparing something wasn't on my top 10 list of things to do tonight. So kind of just, we'll do that. We're going to call that done. Then we'll, say tomorrow I will worry about a real dinner. we'll see what it brings. All right, so a being on the road is another topic that I want to talk about as a long haul OTR, over the road truck driver. Long haul, multiple weeks, multiple months away from quote unquote home. My situation is a little bit different. I'm in the truck 95% of the year. This is my apartment. It's my kitchen. It's my office. It's my living room. It's my bedroom. You know, this curtain right here, right here, where I'm touching right now, that's the driver's seat. You know, that's the back wall of the truck. Got a window right here with a screen in it. I got the same thing on the other side. It's about 7 foot wide, just about 7 foot tall, and approximately 6.5. Well, not even that. I mean, my foot is touching that curtain. So just about 5 3/4 feet. I got a cabinet here, a little refrigerator, cabinets back here, and the same thing basically on the other side. Except the cabinet on the other side below you is a little bit less. I have a full kitchen in here with the tools I have. Microwave, a printer, a pressure cooker, rice cooker, panini grill, stick blender, a kettle, hot plate, pots, pans, all that jazz. This cabinet has all my clothes. Well, 90% plus of my clothes. I got some hoodies, coats, and long pants that don't fit in there. Bed linens go up behind me, towels, cleaning supplies, toiletries, a medicine cabinet, all that stuff. Being on the road is not easy for a lot of people, but it is doable. It always, to me, it always boils down to what are you willing to sacrifice now for a better future? I came out of being homeless for a little bit. My sister took me in, gave me a bit of help, got back on my feet, got tuition to pay for CDL school, got my license, got the job, and it's basically been go, go, go since then. This is my third job as a truck driver in 2.5 years. So basically 2 years and a month, I switched jobs. A year and a week, I switched to this job. And 3 different types of trucks, 3 different layouts, 3 different types of trucking. I started out doing local delivery, a dedicated route, regular OTR, going anywhere and everywhere. Then I moved over to, swinging the doors, the big van, with the doors on the back. Did that for a year and a month. Then came over to Melton Truck Lines, where I did flatbed work. I got my knowledge and experience doing that. Then I came here to do heavy haul. Big things that hang over the edge. I got the flags, the flashing lights, the banner that says oversized load. I have all that stuff. And I take stuff that is taller than legal, wider than legal, heavier than legal, longer than legal. And that's what I do now. And like About Face says, truckers are the lifeblood of the U.S. Every single thing you buy at the grocery store, at the clothes shop, at Home Depot, your car, your gasoline, your milk, your bread, your sports drink, your lacy, frilly top, your blouse. All that stuff was on a truck at one point in time. Wherever it's made around the world, those raw materials came on a truck to that factory. Every single thing in that factory, all the equipment, all the machinery, all the paper and chairs and office equipment, every single thing that factory uses to run that business came on a truck to build that factory. The concrete, the rebar, the roofing metal, everything that built that factory came on a truck. All the power, the electricity that comes to that plant, every single thing involved with that was on a truck at one time. All the raw materials coming into that factory, all the finished products coming out of that factory, first go onto a truck, then get put on a train or a boat sometimes, especially overseas, sometimes on a plane, depending on what it is, comes to the United States. It comes off the boat, off the plane, onto a truck. Then it goes out around the country. Then when it finally gets to the store you just shopped at, everything. And that's not an exaggeration to say literally every single thing was on a truck at one time in its production, in its manufacturing, in its transportation. It all came on a truck. And guys like me are the reason why you have that stuff there. And before I became a truck driver, I was keenly aware of that. And I was grateful for that. And doing it now, even more so, than I'm aware of it. Now, what I'm doing today in this particular job, I'm taking some pretty big stuff. I'm picking up a cooling tower base tomorrow. It's one of those things you don't see when you get your product, at the store. Okay. I'm delivering to a company that bottles water and puts it in a container like this. I'm not bringing the bottles. I'm not bringing anything dealing with the water. I'm dealing with a cooling tower. So my touch on that bottle is tangential to the bottle itself. But when I pick up that product off the shelf, how many truck drivers had to be used to get that to me? More than we usually think. All right, all right. Put that in there. So, trucking is not too bad of a job for me. Like I said, I came out of being homeless. Now I have a little over a year's savings in the bank. And, and I'm just continuing that process. Now I have a little over $20,000 in the bank. I am debt-free. I'm saving up my money so I can buy a piece of property to where I can build my own house without ever needing a mortgage. Everything that I buy for that house, I will, for the most part, I'm going to take off the land. So the wood, the stone, the water. There are some things I will have to buy. I will have to buy concrete. I will have to buy rebar and nails. And, certain things I'm going to have to buy. But for the most part, I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to do everything from my own land. You know, I won't be making my own glass. I won't be making my own tiles. You know, there's certain things that, I'm not going to make my own toilet or sink or, things like, certain things I'm not going to do. But but when I do have to buy them, trucking is going to give me a good salary enough that I can afford to save the money to buy them. Have me a little Coke here, pardon me. But trucking is one of those industries that too many people look at it as a substandard industry. Only idiots, people who can't get a real job do that. Well, sometimes that's applicable. But how many stupid people have we all seen at other jobs? I've had too many people in suits and ties with actually no brain power. The only thing they managed to do was get the job, and they're making decisions affecting other people. I was a landscaper. I was a pesticide applicator, an arborist, an agrologist, an agronomist, an arborist, a landscaper, a pesticide applicator, a horticulturalist for about 30 years. I have some technical knowledge. Some of the things that I dealt with, required a modicum of intelligence. But I couldn't do that job anymore. Now I'm doing an easier job and making more money doing it, which is, like I said, coming out of being homeless, got all my debts paid off, got savings going. I have every single thing that I could possibly need right now. And trucking is allowing me to achieve that. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to get complacent with it. There's still too many things that I have to learn and know. And that's just part of growth, and that's part of having a bit of common sense. Sorry, typing up. So there are too many. There's no simple job out there. Every job has a particular function. Every job has a certain amount of necessity to it. And trucking is one of those jobs that too many people do overlook. But if you simply took it away, you would see how fast an economic collapse could occur if truck drivers didn't do their job every day. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Granted, I have not done any work, quote unquote, on the job really since Tuesday morning of I've worked a total of 6 hours in 7 days. Because I wasn't given a load. But I still have responsibilities, even off the clock, as a truck driver. Whether I have a load on the back or not, I still have to maintain this $150,000 truck, that $40,000 trailer out back, and all the other equipment that goes with it. I still have to be aware of what's going on with that. And then when I put a load on the back that's worth, a couple $100,000, I think the most expensive load I had on there was over 300, probably $300,000 for a brand new excavator. You know, the job requires a lot of precision. You just see it driving down the highway, with all the room in the world to maneuver around, but it does require a lot of precision to drive this vehicle safely, just as a normal tractor trailer. And then when you start hanging the load off the side, or being too tall, or being, really heavy, it requires you to be more vigilant in what you're doing. I mean, look at a waiter, for example, okay? A waiter, brings a platter out with a plate, a bowl, and a drink on it. If you're eating alone, they bring that to your table like that, right? Maybe just a plate and the drink, there you go. Now you add two people. You have one waiter, two people eating. Now you have two plates, two little bowls of a bowl of bread, and two drinks. Now they need a bigger platter to do that with, and they got to navigate around the tables and around the dropping anything, not hitting anybody. Now you add another person or another person or another person, and sometimes that waiter, they got 5-6 plates on that platter. And they got to do the same exact thing again. Get there quickly, get there without spilling anything, dropping anything, or hitting anybody. That's essentially what I do. Instead of a platter in my hand, it's a truck. I'm nothing but a glorified waiter. In essence, that's what I do. I'm not serving somebody pizza like I used to. I'm delivering, things like big, huge ovens that would make that pizza. Pardon me. But at the same time, it's not that hard of a job. Yeah, it requires a level of precision and control and vigilance, but at the same time, it really isn't that difficult a job, as long as you adhere to some basic principles of driving a truck and doing the job properly, like any job. If you work in an office, you have to learn how to use certain machinery in an office. Nowadays, most of it's computer work. You have to look at charts and tables and spreadsheets and invoices and, work orders and all that, that stuff. And pick up the phone, talking to a client. In my day, when I worked, in an office, you had rudimentary computer, printer, but it still was largely, when I was a kid, learned to use a mimeograph machine. Not everybody had a Xerox machine or a copier. Using a fax machine was something, not every office had a fax machine. It was an expensive thing to have. Hell, when I was a kid, living in Japan, we wanted to make a long distance phone call back to the United States. We had to plan it in advance. All right, it's 14 hours difference to where we're calling. We gotta send a letter. Hey, on January 23rd, I'm going to be calling you at this time. Be available to answer the phone. We had to arrange a telephone to where we could make a phone call. We couldn't call from our house. We had to go to a phone that was set up to do that. We had to reserve the time, and it was expensive. Nowadays, everybody on the face of the flippin' planet who has one of these things can call anybody at any time, and it's dirt freaking cheap to do so. You know, got another follower. Thank you very much. But being in a truck, it is a bit of a unique thing for a lot of people. You know, it's like being in the military, where you're stationed away from your family. Policemen experience this a little bit, being on 24-hour shifts and whatnot. Firemen, EMTs, they're being an oil worker out out on at a rig out in the ocean, being a merchant marine, being out there on the ocean. Truck drivers are that same way. We're away from home for long periods of time. It's one of the things where unless you're actually seeing it up close, a lot of people don't know what it's like to live on the road. Now, you can look at some of these RVers on YouTube. Oh, they're out having a great old time. They're seeing America. I'm not seeing America. I've had that said to me many a times. I see factories. I see construction yards. I see farms. I see auction companies. I see I see John Deere dealerships. I see repair shops. I see truck stops. I see rest areas. I see the highway. I don't get a whole lot of time to actually go and see the sights. And when I do, I really don't have the money to go there. And 99% of the time, I'm in a location there is nothing to see. Mr. Maniac, how you doing, sir? Welcome in. Well, 3G really hasn't been hasn't been used at its capacity for several years. And with the new standards that are coming out, the quote unquote 5G standard coming out, and it's in a few locations, but I don't see it as being a loss that 3G is going to disappear. I mean, what advantage does 3G have that you're not getting with 4G or 4G LTE and now going to 5? There's not one dang thing that 3G is a benefit. I mean, the system that is going to be put in place with 5G, it's just a natural progression of technology constantly moving forward, giving you more for less. That right there for a second. Pardon me. Pardon me. Pardon me. So, I am thoroughly grateful that 3G in reality is going away, because downloading a simple little movie on 3G was horrendous. 4G, which is what I'm on now, 4G LTE, and this is my device that I have for the internet. Okay? This device allows me, with 4G LTE, I got my phone connected to it, I got my GPS connected to it, I got my iPad and my computer. All of them connected to it. I can upload a video to YouTube at the same exact time that I'm watching a movie, not downloading a movie, just streaming a movie onto here, while surfing the internet on here, answering emails and messages, sending pictures back and forth, watching little video clips, all at the same time with 4G LTE. And that's the cellular network. Now, with 5G, I'm going to upload a video in a matter of minutes versus sometimes an hour. I can download a video, watch it, and have it on my computer in a matter of a couple of minutes. A 3-hour movie could be downloaded in 3 minutes with 5G. I'm not upset that 3G, which has pretty much been useless for several years, is going away. I mean, there's no advantage that 3G has in any way, shape, or form. Now, there are going to be certain places that they don't need to upgrade that, and they're going to get those parts dirt cheap, and they can constantly use that system. But that's only when they're communicating with themselves. If they have a system here and here, they don't need that capacity. They just need something that's ultra reliable. They're going to use the 3G, and they're going to have a surplus of parts they can have on the shelf. So when it goes down, pop this new one in, and just replace it real quick. And they're only communicating with themselves. It doesn't matter. Let's take an example. A telescope on the top of a mountain, looking at the stars, downloading all that data that they're getting from looking at the stars in the universe. They don't need 4G. They don't need a 5G connection. It provides them no advantage. The amount of data and the way it's used, 3G is fine. So they can buy all that extra, equipment that for those 3G antennas, and they just swap them out when they break. Which, if anybody knows, that's where the HTTP World Wide Web originated, with astronomy. All the YouTube stuff here and all that other everything else we ever do on the internet is thanks to astronomy and the need to communicate from one telescope to another. But for us mere mortals that aren't gazing up at the sky, we want the latest, the greatest, the fastest, the best. And we pay for it. Which is why we are getting the latest, greatest, and best. if 3G had satisfied every possible need we had, it could handle the video. It could handle, the amount of traffic that was going through it. There would have been no need to go to 4G, then the 4G LTE, then to now 5G. But the demand has been so high, now I'll be able to buy a phone that I can watch every single thing that mankind has ever created for television, for the movies, for the internet. I can watch in split-second timing using less power and being faster and ultimately cheaper. Which is always nice. Alrighty, well, that's enough of that. So, anybody have a question about trucking or anything else? Transcendentalism, metallurgy, the effect of cyclones on a crop of cocoa bean. More than happy to put my 2 cents in about that. Oh, the only product of Mexico that I like, the bottled Coca-Cola. Normally, I prefer Pepsi, but when it comes to a classic Coke, well, not even a classic Coke, just regular Coca-Cola. It's not even classic, because Coca-Cola in Mexico never changed. And that was one of the stupidest things that Coke ever did. Ooh, let's go with new Coke. I made a stupid move there. Any of us that are old enough to remember that, people were actually protesting because he changed the flavor of Coca-Cola. And it wasn't that different. But after a couple months, they changed right back. That's why Coca-Cola nowadays from America says classic Coca-Cola. Where, like I said, the Coca-Cola you get from Mexico never changed. But like I said, I'd rather have a Pepsi first before I have a Coke. But, I like this product. All right. Well, the vlog, all my video that I've Music Trucker, how you doing? Welcome in, sir. Well, all the video I've shot over the past, well over a year, about a year and a half, I am up to my 7th hard drive. This one is a 4 terabyte drive. This is number 7. Every day putting video on these. Some days a little bit more, some days a little bit less. But I got 7 of these now that are jam-packed. Well, I'm actually working on this one, but I now have to have a place to store these hard drives because I just can't keep piling them up in the truck. I will be trying to do a retrospective video over, back in May, I should have done that because that May the 28th was 1 year of me posting videos to YouTube. Edited videos. Besides the 1 or 2 that I did, privately before I did trucking. My first year of trucking, I didn't do video, which I kind of regret not doing that, but there you go. I think the very first 2 videos I did do where at my first company, you'll see the truck is red. But they were just, I was just playing around, learning how to do that stuff. Then after that, I became a little bit more adept at doing editing and putting video and music together and, all that stuff. But pretty much a little over about a year and a half almost now of doing video and posting it to YouTube and enjoying the process of documenting my career as a truck driver, which is the number one thing that I do with this in the way I approach my style, of editing video. And I try to do a few other types of video that people have requested and say they like. Like right now I'm working on another time warp video, a warp speed video. Taking all the sound out, speeding all the video up 8 times, overlaying some music, titles at the front, titles at the back, and pushing it out there. I have some subscribers who like that. But like I said, I have some people who like the unedited long version of videos. They just want to see the truck going down the road, normal speed, no commentary, just put it out there, they'll watch it. Which, unfortunately, those take actually longer to do than an edited video does. Because, A, you have to take out I have to watch for any kind of quote-unquote bad language, which I'm guilty of it as well, as everybody else is. Pardon me. You got to take out any copyrighted music and stuff like that. But it actually takes longer because you got to listen to all the audio on there. Which considering I'm a month behind still on video, which it adds up. You miss one day and it piles up. Oh no, I'm the same way. Music, it's I don't. Yeah, granted, I just hit today. I just hit. I just hit 620 subscribers today, which I find amazing. If I hit 1,000, I get monetized. Great. I'll be able to buy a pizza once a month maybe. Or, if I'm really lucky, I'll be able to buy a new camera or, something of that nature. But for the most part, it's like, I didn't start this for anything other, like I said, than making it a diary of my career as a truck driver. Primarily as a flatbed and heavy haul truck driver. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wish I could do 190 sometimes. Well, especially considering I'm stuck here in California right at the moment, which the entire freaking state, you're stuck at stuck at 55 miles per hour. That sucks. All right. So one of the last videos I posted, of me taking this barge up to Minnesota from Louisiana. The permits limited me to 55 miles an hour. Now that I can understand that to a point. Granted, I was almost 12 foot wide. They want me to be a little more cautious, so they slowed me down to 55. That's fine. But what's the excuse in California when you're out in the middle of the freaking desert? You're going up I-5 through the valley, from Los Angeles to, once you get past the Grapevine, You know, it doesn't make much sense to be at 55. I mean, I think that's a stupid rule. I mean, 99% of the truck drivers don't follow that. I don't see them ever getting pulled over either, but I'm one of them nerds, one of them, you know, people who behave on the highway. You know, I'll play Eastbound and Down or 6 Days on the Road or Convoy. I'll play the song, but I'm not actually, you know, like I said, I'm not putting on the Georgia Overdrive, you know, and going downhill at 95 miles an hour. You know, that's just me. You know? And you know, I do not like driving at night. If I have to drive, quote unquote, at night, I'll get up at 2 a.m. and start driving. I cannot drive into the night. I cannot start my day at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., get up and drive with that much darkness for that long. I do not enjoy that one little bit. You know, and now that, you know, that I do heavy haul, that I'm on permits all the time, I can't drive at night no matter what I do. You know, when I have a permit, it's typically daylight hours. Sometimes it's an hour before sunrise and an hour after sunset. A lot of states have that. Then there's some states where it's daylight hours only, sunrise to sunset. Then places like Georgia, half an hour after sunrise to half an hour before sunset. Which, you know, whatever. Yeah. But if, you know, like I said, if I have to drive and make a long day of it, I just get up earlier in the day. I'll get up before sunrise. Especially when I have a legal load, I'll try to get up really early so I can get done earlier in the day. You know, I like being done by 4 p.m., 4:30, getting into a truck stop and parking for the night. Going till 5, 6, 8 o'clock at night, I've never liked that. It's just not my speed. And like I said, being on permits and, you know, dealing with the oversized rules and regulations, that fits the type of driving I did when driving a van, when driving a standard flatbed without, you know, being on permits. I shouldn't have it, but I do love them. It's one of those bad habits. Oh yeah. Everything I've read about this bill, and then other states thinking about adopting something similar. You know, it just doesn't make any damn sense to me. You know, this idea of trying to protect somebody, you know, it winds up hurting more people than they think. Like I said, I don't know if it has passed or it's still waiting to be passed and signed into law here in California. When that happens, you're going to see prices of every single thing on the shelf go higher because of it. You're going to see more accidents because of it. And the reason I say there's going to be more accidents is because, A, the safest drivers on the road are owner-operators. The safest drivers, this is proven by statistics, by actual facts, the safest truck drivers on the road are the guys who own their own truck. The guys who are running on their own authority are even safer. Yet, you're going to ban them from doing business in California? Okay, here's what's going to happen. You can have the mega companies, Swift, Sierra England, KLM, Crete, Schneider. We already see the problem with them hiring guys and not giving them training. You know, number one, they run their own CDL schools. That's problem number one. Number two, the states license these trainers who are employed by the trucking companies, give them authority to test these students out, to sign off saying, yes, they passed their driving test. You know, and bing, they passed their driving test. Now we're going to give them their CDL. That's number two. Then number three, because they got these people trapped, you know, here, we'll pay for your CDL school. You go to our school to do it. We'll test you out, and we're just going to, you know, quickly, you know, pencil whip it. You know, pencil whip their test. Oh, we're just going to let you slide because you're going to go onto our truck with another truck driver who's a quote unquote trainer. Who, with some of these companies, if you're there 3 months, you're automatically an expert at driving a truck. And now you can train somebody how to be an effective truck driver. After 3 months, I find that abhorrent. And that's the kind of person you're going to get in California and these other states that passes AB 5. You're going to see more accidents because the mega companies are the ones going to be going in there. They're going to be causing accidents. They're going to be causing the price of every single thing to go up. And I just think it's an incredibly stupid move to make. And well, that's what you get for having a bureaucrat who has never been an employee, who has never run a business, who has never been a truck driver, is making these laws. And that's going to cause nothing but problem for the people of California. And, you know, like I said, the prices are going to go up. Accidents are going to get worse. We've seen the videos of some of the stupid people who have no business being behind the steering wheel of a truck that can weigh 80,000 pounds. We've all seen your typical, you know, quote unquote Swift guy. I mean, I'm not trying to pick on Swift in, you know, particular, but that's the common meme that's out there. That's the common joke. Watch out, here comes a Swift guy. Because they've done precisely what I said. One, they hire somebody without a CDL. They send him to the Swift Training Academy, or whatever ridiculous name they give to make it sound professional. Two, they give him slipshod training there. They have the authority from the individual states to sign off on the CDL test. They pencil whip him through that. Don't worry, we tell you we passed you through that. So we're going to put you on a truck to do whatever, you know, program they have out there, and let somebody else actually quote unquote train. Which we've seen too many of those guys. While the rookies up front doesn't know what the hell they're doing, the other guy's in the back sleeping because his training is just the amount of hours. He's not sitting up in front doing his job and training this guy and teaching this guy, you know, how to actually be a truck driver. Before I went, okay, so when I came out of being homeless, I got myself a job, a minimum wage job. I saved my money to go to CDL school, not at a company. I used this right here, YouTube. I watched thousands of hours, over 50 or 60 truck drivers doing this on YouTube. Learning as much as I can by watching what they were doing. So when I went into CDL school, I had some knowledge of what I was doing. I had some knowledge of how to drive a big vehicle. Been an arborist. I drove a chipper truck, a 10-ton truck with a dump body, with a split axle, a splitter on the transmission, 10 gears, and I towed a chipper trailer that I couldn't see. So I had some experience driving forward, making around turns, backing up with a trailer I couldn't see. So when I got into a trailer that's 53 foot long that I could see the entire thing of it, it was nothing to me. It was super easy. But, I see a lot of these guys out there who seem to not learn how to drive a truck. And like I said, 500 hours, 100 hours, 1,000, 30,000, 40,000 miles on the road learning how to be a truck driver after they got their CDL. And they still can't back up a truck into a parking spot at the truck stop or a dock at a warehouse. That's my biggest pet peeve with truck drivers. You've been driving how many hours, how many miles, and you don't stop every 150 miles and back it into a parking spot? No, it's go, 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 go. As many miles as you can put on in a day. That's the only criteria that you're given. Now, my first company, Watkins Shepherd, we did 2 weeks orientation because we did not, at that point in time, Watkins Shepherd did not put anybody with a quote unquote driver trainer. You did 2 weeks orientation. They tested you at the terminals. They watched how you drive, watched how you handled the mountain, watched how you backed into a truck stop, into a parking spot, and they evaluated you there before they gave you your truck. It wasn't, it's like, why is it so hard? And that's the thing. When you're like I said, that's the problem with these places, these mega carriers running their own schools, being allowed by the state to test out the student and give them their CDL, and then sending them out with a trainer who, I'm sorry, I think I've seen 2 in 2.5 years, trainers actually outside that truck teaching somebody. And that's a shame. And this is one of those things that I don't understand. I saw a truck driver, a trainer, trying to teach a guy who just learned, who just got a CDL. I think he said they've been on the road for 3 days. The trainer did not have the skill or the ability to train. Being a trainer is being a teacher. Not everybody can teach. You have to have a certain mentality. You have to be able to change how you speak to somebody, how you communicate with them. And not everybody who's in a truck can do that. But he was, yelling at the guy behind the wheel. He wasn't teaching him a thing. So the guy behind the wheel is becoming a little more closed off, putting in blinders, and his focus is getting narrower and narrower like this. And I saw what was going on. And the guy he took over half an hour to try to get the truck into a parking spot. And he was blocking all kinds of things. He circled around a couple times, reset up again, just on the way. And I approached him. I said, do you guys need a hand? Yeah, this guy can't learn. And I said, well, let's see what he's doing. And let's see what you're doing. He goes, why? I'm the trainer here. He's just not getting it. And I said, well, let's just see what you're doing. And like I said, I witnessed this guy yelling at this guy, not being loud and communicating, with a raised voice, just increasing the volume. No, he had an attitude problem training this guy. And then basically I said, hold up. Let me talk to him and see if we can help him, get this truck into a spot. And I said, okay, first of all, calm down. He's yelling at me. I know he's yelling at you. Calm down. Listen to me. I'm going to help you get into your spot. I said, when you do this, you do this. When you do that, you do that. Every trainer that I've ever seen, they tell the new guy, okay? They tell the new guy one important thing. And this is one thing that they really screw up on. They tell them that when you turn your steering wheel to the left, your trailer is going to go right. When you turn your steering wheel to the right, your trailer is going to go left. You got to think opposite. When you're backing up, you got to think opposite when you're backing up. All right? So, when you are here, when this is the top of your steering wheel right here, when you turn your wheel this way, right? You turn your wheel this way. Your trailer wants to go that way when you're backing up. Right? When you turn your wheel this way, your trailer wants to go that way when you're backing up. And I said, no, do not think of the top of your steering wheel. You think with the bottom of your steering wheel. When you turn the bottom of your steering wheel this way, that's the way your trailer is going to go. When you turn your bottom of your steering wheel this way, that's where your trailer is going to go. And bam, the guy driving that truck, that new guy who'd been on the road for 3 days, and this was his first attempt backing up a 53-foot van trailer with a Volvo sleeper, high roof sleeper on it. He managed to get it with 2 little pull-ups and two extra stops so he can get out and look to see what's going on. Over half an hour with his quote-unquote trainer, he couldn't get it because his trainer was not a trainer. He was just some guy who managed to get the extra money out of his company for training. But he wasn't training the guy. He was screaming and yelling at him and calling him names and insulting the guy when the guy's there trying to learn. But I had to tell this quote-unquote trainer, you need to step away from being a trainer. You are not gifted with that talent. He didn't like me saying it, but it was true. I told his trainee that he needs to request to be off of that truck. Tell his manager, this guy does not know how to train. A stranger came up and helped him get into a spot in 5 minutes where in half an hour being yelled at and berated and insulted, he couldn't get into a spot. And that's one of the biggest problems I have with these mega carriers running their own training academy, their training schools to get the CDL. Then the states allowing them to test them out, and then pencil whipping them through, and then putting them on a truck with a trainer who has no experience, no knowledge of actually truck driving, and even less of how to be a teacher. It's amazing. And, like I said, I had experience handling a big vehicle with a trailer I could not see, and having to back up, hooking to it, unhooking, backing it into people's backyards next to their house, parking in a parking spot. I had to develop a bit of x-ray vision to do that. And then going to, like I said, a 53-foot van, it was easy for me. I've been very fortunate. I've not hit one person in a parking lot, ever. Now, in a truck, I've been hit 8 times. And like I said, in the Volvo, I drove a Volvo 670. It's got the wide cab. You're sitting all the way out on the left-hand side. I could see, the way my mirrors were set, I could see everything pretty much. So I didn't open the door a lot when I was driving that truck. When I moved into my T680, when I moved to Melton, yes, I did open the door a lot. One, because the mirrors just didn't sit right, and the cab is a little bit narrower than the Volvo was. And plus, I'm driving a split axle trailer as well, so I need to be able to look and watch my tires a little bit more closely so I don't scrub them too much and pop it. Now, I moved now to this third company. I'm driving a 389 Peterbilt. The cab for the driver is even narrower than that T680 Kenworth. Now I have to open the door, and I'm leaning out. Steering wheel's here. I'm going way out there, holding the door open, and I'm running a clutch at the same time. I have no problem backing it in. Hey, Stephanie, spoken word. How you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you coming in. Like I said, with the AB5 law coming into California, and I think they also said Massachusetts and one other state, I believe I heard as a rumor for that going on, preventing the owner-operator from coming in, or from pretty much the least, the least driver coming in. Because they're not employees. You can't do work unless you're actually an employee in the state. Mr. Spoken Word, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I thank you. I do appreciate those kind words. Now, anybody who wants to get on the live feed with me to be part of this discussion from their viewpoint, you just click on this link, close YouTube, and just work through this link, and you'll be on the live feed with me. You'll be on the screen with me with your camera. But like I said, with this law coming through, it's going to do a lot of damage to California and any other state that puts anything else like that into place. The safest drivers, proven through statistics, through facts, the safest drivers on the road in trucks are the guys who own their own trucks. They are the safest drivers out there. Then it's the guys who are leasing their trucks, because these guys are financially on the hook for the expenses of fuel, maintenance, repairs, insurance. You know, they're taking a big risk, and it's all on them. All the financial burdens on them. They are basically business owners. The truck, the trailer is all on them. Now, I'm a company driver, but I still act as if I am an owner-operator. I take it, this is my truck, and that's how I treat it. Stephanie, I don't care if you don't know anything about trucks. It's always good to have somebody else's opinion, you know. So if you want to come on, I'm more than happy to have you on. And everybody, please go to everybody else in here, go to their channels, subscribe to them. You may find something that you like. It gives them a bit of support. Whether or not they put out videos or not, whether it's a topic that you don't even know if you're interested in. But like I said, you know, I have a lot of channels that I subscribe to. One, because they subscribe to me. So like Stephanie Page, I'm subscribed to her channel. It's a topic that she normally does that I am not interested so much in producing videos on, but I still learned a little bit from watching that on how to do video, how to do, you know, other things, you know, in trucking and anywhere else. So like, you know, the music trucker, you know, I learned things from watching his channel and the types of video he produces. It helps me out for doing a better job for me. So, you know, I have channels that are food channels, which when I'm cooking in the truck, I'm always looking for something new to do. Because too many truck drivers, they're doing the same thing. They're doing bologna and cheese. They're doing soups. They're doing the most, you know, little, you know, microwave meals and whatnot. I don't like doing that. You know, yes, I have that stuff on the truck. Sometimes you need to have something that, you know, is super easy to do and, you know, requires no real skill in making. I mean, I got about a dozen of these Italia. You know, this basically is a Walmart brand for the most part. Pasta, you know, dried pasta, a sauce pouch. You boil up the noodles, you add the sauce, you warm it up. There you go. Sometimes, you know, I have a set of these as kind of my backup food. You know, I have penne pasta, fusilli and tomato sauce, linguine, gnocchi. You know, I have some of those. You know, and I'm always learning from other channels that do cooking, you know, of something new for me to try, which I thoroughly like. And metal music, that's the same thing. You know, sometimes just setting up my YouTube, you know, on the phone, and I got my phone mounted right in front of me, like right here on the dash. You know, turn the YouTube on, let a channel like yours play, put the Bluetooth in my ear, and just listen to that. And, you know, it's one of those things that I'm always learning from other channels. So that's why, you know, it makes it easier today to be a truck driver than it was 30 years ago, where you didn't have that kind of, you know, that range of entertainment. I got music on my phone. I have audiobooks. I have satellite radio with, you know, hundreds of channels to listen to, from old time radio, opera, rap, hip hop, heavy metal, the news, you know, the Catholic channel, which I listen to on Sundays, so I can get my mass in, things of that nature. So there's so many things nowadays that allow a truck driver to expand their horizons a little bit, to learn and be entertained and keep your mind a little more active. Mr. Huber, how you doing, sir? We need to talk a bit later. You know what the personal dynamic is for that, so please don't post any of that, here. We'll talk later on regarding that. But like I said, if you can, subscribe to everybody when you watch a live feed like this, subscribe to everybody that you can, give them the support for their channels so they can produce good stuff. And, then like I said, YouTube is one of those tools where you can learn a lot of stuff fairly rapidly. I used it when I started driving a truck, learning how the lifestyle was, learning how certain things were done. Now, that didn't eliminate the need to learn it firsthand, but it was a useful tool to me. So, I subscribe to hundreds of channels. Most everybody that I can who subscribes to my channel, I return in kind to them. Now, if you go to my YouTube page and you click on the channels tab, every channel that subscribes to me that has it set to public, they don't have it as private, go there and subscribe to them. You're going to find channels you never knew existed. I mean, I have channels that are in England, Europe, Korea, Australia, all over the place. And I learn a little bit from everybody so I can try to make my videos that I do here. I don't even know how many videos I have up now. I think it's almost 500 videos I've posted. Something like that, 400 and something. Well, look at that, 623 subscribers we're up to. Pretty dang cool. All right, so, what else?
Sorry, I missed that.
Shut up, Siri. Yeah, Siri, always butting in. Yeah, and like I said, I got my CDL on a manual transmission, which far too many people nowadays are never learning how to use a real manual transmission in their car or in a truck. And I think that's a bad thing when you do not learn how to operate the vehicle properly. When you're just sitting there, you put the Volvo I-Shift into drive and you press on the gas and go, you're not learning how to drive a truck. When you are just, turning the M drive to the D and just going, you're not really learning how to drive a truck. When you have to modulate the clutch, you have to learn how to properly set the transmission in the proper gear to go around a corner, to slow down, to do that. I think you have a little bit better, I'm going to take it from my personal experience. I hate it. I hate driving an automatic car. I hate driving an automatic truck. Now, some of the trucks are trying to be fancy. They're automated manuals. It's an automatic. I don't care what, they come up with a fancy little term. Just because you can shift it into drive and go, or put it into manual and switch between the gears with a little bit more control, you really don't. It really doesn't give you all that much control. When I was just swinging a door, I had problems with the automatic transmission because I did not have that low speed control. Because I had a computer in there trying to determine what's the best way to do it, instead of letting me do the thinking. And then when I moved into doing flatbed and being on tighter lots and mud and dirt and, places like that, I needed more control. But still had an automatic transmission that got in my way. Now that I'm in doing heavy haul, now I'm in a truck that I have that manual transmission, I have that control, and all those problems that I ever had in an automatic transmission truck are gone. Yes, I have to control the clutch, but that makes me more control. I feel safer driving a manual transmission truck. I have better control at low speed where it's the most critical. When I get up to highway speed at 70 miles an hour and I got it in 18th gear and I hit the cruise control, yeah, it's going to run basically exactly the same. When I come down, slow down, I have to shift through the gears. Go from 18th gear, click my splitter, drop it down, let off the gas, drop down to 17th. Push that splitter forward, push it up, into 7th high, 16th gear. I have that control. I determine when that happens, not some computer. And that makes me a better driver because I have to think about doing those things, which goes back to this AB5 out here in California. Drivers are not thinking about what their truck is doing. Is it going forward? Yes. And that, then nothing else is going on between their ears. Too many truck drivers, just like in the car, are doing this or doing this. I've seen truck drivers going down the road with the phone in their hand, both hands on their phone like that. I've seen it. Yes, spoken word, 18 gears. I have a truck with a X15, performance or efficiency engine, 500 horsepower, 1,850 pound-feet of torque, and an 18-speed Eaton Fuller transmission. And you can easily find that on YouTube here. I have reverse, low, 1, 2, 3, 4. You come back up, you raise what's called the selector button. It's on the front. It's a big flapper on the front. You flick that up. That goes up into 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? So, and then you also have a splitter on the side. You work with your thumb. Okay? So, we're going to run through all 18 gears here. So, if I start in low, the splitter is down. I'm sorry, the selector knob is down. Okay? The splitter is all the way to is at the back. All right? That's low and low. Okay? So that is actually the very first forward gear on the truck. And you really never get into that position unless you have a really heavy load. Or you're starting out on a hill with a heavy load. Okay, it's kind of like a granny gear. If you ever heard of what a granny gear is, it's really low. Okay, you let off the clutch. You let your foot up, and it creeps you forward. You got your foot on the gas a little bit. Then you flick that selector button on the side up. You let off the gas. You let the pressure off the gas just a tiny bit. The air ram inside the transmission works. It shifts it up to the second gear, which is low, high, right? And that's usually only just to get you moving. You don't ride in that gear. Then you will switch that lever, that splitter on the side back. You shift it up into 1 low. And when you push it forward a little bit, you put a little bit of pressure on the shifter knob. Here, look. So you put a little pressure on the shifter knob, right? and then you let off the gas just the tiniest bit. You're barely moving your foot, just relieving the pressure a little bit. Then it comes out of gear. You shift it up into one low. You push back down on the gas, and it goes from low high to one low. Then you push that splitter forward. Let up you let off the gas just a tiny bit. Then it shifts into one high, which is now gear number 4. So 1, flick forward, 2, backwards and up to gear 1, into one low. That's third gear. Forward, gear 3 and 4. Then you flick it back again, down into second gear low, which is 5th gear. Splitter forward, that goes up into 6th gear. Splitter back, shift it over to 3 low, which is 7th. Put splitter forward, that's 8th. Splitter back, down into 4 low, that's 9. Forward, in 4 low, and then make sure then the 4 high, which is 10th gear. Now, you push that splitter backwards, you pull the selector knob up. Then you shift up into 5 low, which is 11th gear. Splitter forward with the selector knob pulled up. That's 12th gear. 13, 14, back and over into 7 low. That's 15. Splitter forward, 17. Splitter back into 8 low. That's 17th. Then the splitter forward is 18 gears. Now, of course, you have those same things available. Really, you have that available in reverse as well. You can get the truck with the splitter up, with the selector knob up in reverse. The truck's going to jump and bounce all over the place because that's too high of a gear for reverse. But you have a reverse will have a low and a high. But that's 18 gears, and it's just for the efficiency of the engine and being able to move a heavy weight pretty easily down the road. Now, it's easier if you see it or watching somebody shift on the video, because it makes a little more sense when you can see it. But that's pretty much what goes on. But once you let off that clutch, like Mr. Huber here says, it's called floating gears, because you do not push your clutch in once you get rolling. Once I get out of that very first gear I start in, you don't touch the clutch. You let a little bit of pressure off the gas pedal, and you put a little bit of pressure on your stick. A little bit of pressure, let off the gas, and it pops out of gear up into where you want it to be. You press the gas on again, it's right in gear. And it's called floating gears. It's blip, 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 blip. It's easy. People try to make it some mysterious thing, but it's fairly easy to do. Like I said, there's dozens of videos out there already from other people who shift better than I do. I mean, I'm no slouch, but there's other guys who've been doing it a lot longer than me. You're not driving what's called a synchro mesh transmission. You're driving straight cut gears, and and the transmission isn't powered by hydraulic fluid. It's powered by air. So you have air rams, pistons moving those gears around. But it's fairly easy once you get used to it. Now, I had not driven a stick shift for several years and have never shifted a straight cut gear before in my life till I started driving a truck. Now, when you go to truck driving school, they talk about double clutch, which double clutching is a pain in the ass. Once you get that movement down, it's easy. It requires more timing than is necessary. The modern, transmission for a truck like this, the Eaton Fuller 18-speed, 15-speed, 12-speed, 10-speed, for a heavy-duty Class 8 truck, double clutching is actually the least efficient way to do it. And it does more harm to the engine because you're more likely to be knocking those teeth together. Where floating gears, it's such an easy thing to do. Well, the clutch is almost used not at all. Like I said, when I leave a stop, like my parking spot right now, the only time I'm going to hit that clutch is when I get up to the exit of this truck stop. And traffic lights or, traffic on the highway where it comes to a stop and in my final ending. I'm going to touch that clutch very little. All the other time that I'm shifting, I'm not touching the clutch. Okay, like in a synchro mesh car, your typical car transmission. The teeth on the transmission and the parts of transmission, they're angled like this. Now this is kind of exaggerated, so they sweep together nice and easy. Okay, so they're angled. If you look at a clutch, one of the gears, so the gear is long like this, the teeth will be angled across it like that, and then they just mesh together nice and easy. It's very difficult to grind a gear. You really got to be screwing up to grind a gear in a car. But in a truck, in a heavy duty application like this, the gears are straight at each other like this. So timing is much more necessary. And when you let the truck work as designed, you don't need the clutch. The clutch only gets in the way. Like I said, the only time you use it is when you come to a stop. That is it. Going up through the gears, going down through the gears. The only thing you have to worry about is, okay, I'm coming from 18th gear at 70 miles an hour. I'm slowing down to 45. Okay? 18th gear, click it back, let off the gas a little bit, put back on the gas. I'm slowing down. I went into 17th gear, slowing down. Sweep up through, back over through the speedometer. Once I get to about 45 miles per hour, shift it up. The selector up, the splitter forward to high. Shift it up into 16th gear. Hit the gas again. Bam. Nice and smooth. Then you run down through the gears like that. Just knowing what's the best speed and engine RPM for the gear that I'm going into. That's a little bit more critical going down than it is going up. But other than that, shifting of gears in an 18-speed transmission, a 15, a 12, a 10, the only transmission I have not ever really driven is a Spicer. I drove something similar. There was a guy had a homemade, double transmission, which is what a Spicer engine is, or a Spicer transmission is. It's basically two transmission boxes, gear sets next to each other. And the range of gears is much more. You can drive a 4-and-4 transmission. You can drive a 5-and-4, a 4-and-5, a 6-and-4. This guy had a 7-and-8. But this vehicle that the guy built himself was doing some incredibly heavy work. And those gears were very narrow. It was like shift, a second later shift, a second later shift, a second later shift. Hey there, Stephanie. Let me put that on there. Add to stream. There we go.
Hi.
How you doing, Stephanie?
Good. How are you?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to see you.
Are you getting
So-
delays from me?
Are you getting delayed for me?
I'm getting a little bit of delay, but that shouldn't be too bad of a thing. Just
Would it
Would
be
it be
better
better if I put food in?
if you put what?
Earphones in.
in.
Maybe that helps me sometimes when I'm doing this split screen.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be back.
All right. Yeah. Like I said, that the Spicer transmission was really the first way that transmissions for the heavier vehicles gained a lot more efficiency. They gained the ability to be, to get the fuel economy that you would get out of a car almost. Instead of getting 2 miles to the gallon, they can now get 6, 7 miles to the gallon. So the Spicer engine allowed them to do that, but then after a bit of time, they figured out how to get those chunks of metal in the transmission that are this wide down to this wide, and then how to properly do the engineering so that it can take the pressures. All right, let's see if that helps your delay here.
I
hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that works. That works.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Not in a bad dubbed Chinese kung fu movie. So how you doing?
I'm good. I've just been listening in about the cars.
Yep.
And
the trucks.
Or the
orders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that are similar, but when you start getting up to the sizes that we are talking about and the weights we're talking about, you definitely you need a different perspective on it. And
Yeah.
and then someone, like you said yourself, you've never driven a truck. I mean, what's the largest vehicle you've driven? A pickup truck? Or what do they call
I
it?
drive
a removalist
truck. And it was
not much fun.
not much fun.
So you have the standard sedan, pickup truck, minivan, but they're all working fairly the same.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of different engineering for some of the bigger vehicles like I drive. The width, the height, the length, the weight. In a little Ford Cortina, you can whip around the corners without any problem. Here, we have. It's one of the things when you're driving a truck like this size. I don't drive the front of the truck. I drive the very back end of the trailer.
Okay.
Because when I'm going around a corner, that trailer is going to track inside of where my front wheels are going to go. So if I go around a corner, I have to take that corner wide with the trailer, but wide of the truck, but my trailer wheels can be this far off the sidewalk. So when I go around that corner, making a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn, I have to look in the mirror more than I'm watching where I'm going, so that I don't hit a light post, a car, heaven forbid somebody thinking they can sneak up on the inside of me. So it definitely is a lot. It takes a lot more thought to drive a truck. I mean,
that happens here.
They pull in front of trucks all the time, not realizing that they can. You can't just stop like that.
And I'm sure they have it because you're in Australia, correct? So, but you drive on the left-hand side of the road?
Left hand. Same as England.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Japan, so I'm used to that as well. So when you're making that left-hand turn at a stoplight, the truck needs to be in the right-hand lane in order to be able to get around that corner. And somebody coming up on the left into that angle of the truck, they go right underneath the edge and the truck runs over them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen the trucks. They got big old placards on them. Wide turn. They have a little picture of the car getting run over or whatnot. And that's probably one of the biggest dangers that truck drivers face, no matter where you are. Because you have the same size trucks we do. Actually, some of your trucks are actually bigger.
Yeah.
I see road trains going out to Alice Springs or going out into what everybody calls the outback.
Yeah.
You get away from the coast, you get away from Sydney, you get away from Perth, and you go into the interior. You got some of them road trains that 3, 4, 5 trailers long. The big old Kenworths. People don't realize how heavy those things are, and how they, in an instant, you can be hurt if you're not careful around those vehicles.
That's right.
So what do you see when you're driving and you see those big trucks? What do you see people doing that you think is wrong with how they're driving them?
The people driving the trucks,
or the people in the cars?
In the cars. I always see them pull in front of them.
And just no turn signal, no indicator, don't give them enough space, and they think that I'll just swing right in front of them. On the motorway, or on the local streets coming up to a stoplight, and I don't know what the weight limits are in Australia, but here in America, the typical weight is 80,000 pounds. So you do the math for 2.2 kilograms equals a pound.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's like 37,000 kilograms.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the weight is, the conversion rate. I'm not a mathematician. That's why I drive a truck. So you have these vehicles that weigh several tons, 40 tons in America. And then what I do as a truck driver, I will take weights that exceed that. So when somebody gets in front of me and they're not thinking about the consequences, pardon me, that little car that weighs 2,000 pounds compared to what I weigh, just what I weigh empty. I'm typically 7 times heavier without a load on my truck than a car is, and people to remember that.
I mean, and people have the most biggest issue over here is the height. That many trucks hit the overhead bridges.
And we have a bridge here in America called the 11-foot 8 bridge. It's notorious for people not paying attention to the flashing lights, the signs saying what the height is. Now, they just recently did some construction on it, raising it 8 inches. But people are still hitting it.
Still hitting it, yeah.
And it's a notorious bridge. It's a railway bridge, and people you can see it online. Just type in 11-foot 8 bridge, and you will see vehicle after vehicle running into it. Big flashing lights, low clearance, trucks must turn, and people still hitting it. It's funny and sad at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know how they don't see. Like the one in Melbourne, they hit it that many times, and people have been killed and injured and everything.
And it's one of the problems that I don't know what the situation with the vehicles you can rent, like a moving truck. Okay. Those are the people, unfortunately, because they don't know the rules and regulations of the road. When it comes to a vehicle that's taller than, like a minivan or a large personal truck, personal pickup truck. I mean, because what's that vehicle called? I think it's called a ute.
Yeah.
The way it appears to me, it's like a regular car with a truck bed on the back.
Yeah.
But that's not the kind of vehicle I'm talking about. A regular pickup truck. A Land Rover, something that sits up high on a 4-wheel drive with big tires, whatnot. But those typically don't get up into that range where they could start hitting things. Typically,
Yeah.
of course, you got the guys out there trying to be macho. I got this up 3 meters. Up in the air, I need a ladder to get in.
Well, even the bus hit it.
Yeah.
And then the bus driver said, "Oh, it's the first time I've driven the bus."
Yeah, and well, that. When I got into my very first truck, in 2017, the first thing I did was measure what the height of the truck was.
Smart.
Seeing the videos of, when I was going to truck driving school, seeing the videos of the good and the bad, of trucking, I said, that's something I should know.
Do you have to go to a school?
Well, yeah, you have to go to a particular training to get your what's called a CDL, commercial driver's license. And you have to do a certain number of hours. You have to go through certain procedures. Then you have basically a 3-part test. Well, actually a 4-part test. You have a written portion where you're answering various, standard questions. Then you go outside where you're actually in the vehicle. You do a pre-trip inspection, and you're telling the examiner, this part needs to look like this, be in this condition. It's at this part of the location. It's not broken. It's bolted down properly. It's not loose. It's not cracked. And you have to tell them what the part is. You work on the engine, the drivetrain, suspension, lights, what various parts off, and that's the second stage. Then you do all the things where you are backing up and maneuvering slowly in a parking lot, backing up to a door, things of that nature.
Yeah.
When you do a parallel park for your regular driver's license for a car, we have to do the same thing in a truck. You have to learn how to parallel park a truck. Backing into a parking spot, you have to do that as well. And then the last part 4, is the actual road test. And you have to pass all those with a certain number of error points.
Yeah.
So if you're committed to doing it, you're going to pass it. Some people take it 3-4 times before they get their license.
People are saying that we're getting echo. I can hear an echo too.
Probably, But hey, I'm in California right now, which is basically as close to you as I can get. So, but the miracles of the internet, it's pretty much, it's almost real time. So.
Yeah. One thing too. They had issues with. That's why I'm talking slow because I can hear myself. but they had issues with logging in. A lot of the trucks. They were doing too many hours, and they were driving like they could hardly focus, and there were so many crashes. So now you have to go through certain sections and have a login book so that they can't do that anymore.
Well, we have basically the same thing here in America and in Canada. Mexico, I'm not too sure of what the regulations have changed to. I know they have to do a certain amount of compliance once they get, come across the border into America, and there are slightly different rules between the United States and Canada, just minimal. But they have the same thing in Europe. They have the same thing, in China. Well, in Japan and Korea, they basically have the same thing as well. We have what's called an ELD, electronic log.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
That's an ELD. But let me find a book here. There we go. So here is, we all are required, even with the electronic log, to have a paper log backup.
Oh yeah.
So we can see it there.
Yep.
So, you probably have something very similar to this. You track your hours here there's 4 different lines: off duty, sleeper, berth, which is where the bed is, on duty for like when you're filling out, when you're putting fuel in, you're getting loaded, and then the last line is your driving line. And then you track your date, where you stopped, what you did, and then at the end of the day, you turn that in. You know, but now it's gone to the computer, which makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, but a lot of guys complained about it, but that's probably because they were just falsifying this, which that I never understood. Why don't you just do it legally? You win.
Yeah, that's right.
But this is kind of the Bible for truck drivers in America.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of words describing every little detail about being a truck driver. You have to have a medical examination to drive a truck. You have to carry a special card, which is called your medical. Every 2 years, you have to get tested again as a physical. Your sight, hearing, blood pressure, all that stuff. But all that's is detailed in this book. And this is the condensed version. This thing is, let's see, 400 and, I'm sorry, need better glasses here. 624 pages.
Wow.
Yeah, granted, this thing's, what, about 7 inches high by like 5 inches wide. It's over an inch thick on, thick paper with really tiny words.
Oh my gosh, it's tiny.
And then, of course, because it's written by the government, it's written in the stupidest way possible.
Exactly.
So that nobody understands what's going on.
That's the way they do it.
But everything that I do in this truck is governed by this book. On top of the regular rules of the road. So,
wow.
It's interesting, There are some things in there you look at and go, why do they care about this? But somebody in the office said, we care about this. Right.
And also I find that there's an issue with a lot of drivers. They have too much work. Like they have so much pressure to get from one place to the other that they're not even hardly sleeping.
Well, I think that's part that, to me, having done several different types of trucking, that's their own issue. It's nothing really to do with the demands of the job. It's just their own attitude with it.
Oh, okay.
That's my view of it. Yes, there are times where I felt that I had to get the load there, but then I had to say, wait a minute. There's nothing that I carry that anybody's life is dependent upon it.
Yeah.
I'm not transporting a heart because somebody needs a heart transplant right away. I'm not doing that. In those very rare cases where you have a flood or a blizzard or a hurricane or typhoon came through, and thousands of people are now without power, without water. The government does give you some truck drivers that are getting that emergency aid, water, food, generators, blankets, construction equipment, getting that into the area. Yeah, they do relax the rules for that, but that's a rare thing. Like I said, I've had loads that I've delivered, quote unquote, late, but I'd rather get it there safely and legally than not at all because I have an accident because I'm going too fast.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't know.
Steven, you said you transport organ. You do organ transport. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I drove a regular box van, all enclosed. I've taken rolls of paper that were, taller than I am, 2 meters high, 3 meters around. I've taken that. I've taken car parts. trash. You know, I've taken hay, you know, roofing, styrofoam, you know, all kinds of, you know, things on a truck. You know, basically everything you ever get at your store came on a truck. You know, heck, the store itself came on a truck. The bricks, the concrete, the air conditioner, the cash register, you know, everything at one point in time was on a truck. You know?
Hello, Stephen.
Yeah. So it is, you know, it's surprising that our societies work nowadays, and it all funnels through this one little narrow section, you know, of trucking.
Yeah.
You know, which is pretty amazing.
That's true.
I find it amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
That it works at all. You know. It's still pretty neat, and I find it amazing.
So you're in California still? How long will you be there, do you think?
I've been here since Saturday. I bring a load of off-road vehicles from Texas to the state, a little bit north of Sacramento, California. That was about 1,400-mile drive, approximately 1,400 miles. Now, I moved a little bit south of the state capital of Sacramento. I'm picking up a cooling tower. And I'm going to be picking that up tomorrow morning, finally, after sitting around for a week, doing nothing. So I'm taking that back out to Dallas, Texas, which is going to be about 1,700 miles, which is not too bad of a drive. Going through the desert Southwest. You know, at first I got to go back down near Los Angeles, then over to Arizona, New Mexico, and then back into Texas, which is not too bad of a drive. You know?
Oh yeah.
There's some rather pretty sights. It's not my normal place that I would like. I wouldn't want to live in the desert, but it can be pretty once you're there. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of, probably the best analogy would be Alice Springs versus Darwin. You know,
okay.
I would prefer to be up in Darwin with a lot more trees and you know, a lot more green. But
I would love to go to Darwin. I've never been there.
So where are you actually at?
I'm in Melbourne. Do you know Melbourne?
Okay. You know, unfortunately, the closest I ever got to Australia is living in Japan for 10 years. So.
That's amazing. When did you live there? I absolutely love Japanese culture.
Well, I basically when I was a child, 1974.
Someone said I look like a trucker.
Yeah, in 1974 to 1978, and 82 to 88, before you were born.
Wow.
So, you know, it was a good place to grow up, but I still have that sort of inbuilt thing to see other places. So Australia, New Zealand, I've always wanted to go there. Still haven't worked up the nerve to go. You know, I still want to go to Europe. Haven't been, but one of these days it'll happen. You know, hopefully I do it.
Hopefully. Absolutely.
Since you look like a trucker.
Yeah, I know.
You got that tough chick attitude. And there's plenty of women truckers out there, you know. Now, it's one of the things that a woman trucker on YouTube is guaranteed to have 10,000 followers.
Really?
You know, think about it. You know, lonely guys on the road, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A beautiful woman. Hey, I'm going to watch her. You know, normal, typical male.
I'm a model.
So, Mr. Flodo, how you doing? Welcome. Trying a little something.
These comments are hilarious.
Yeah. So what do you normally do for a living?
What's a tractor cab?
The cab, it's the box that everything sits in.
That's stuff in a huge tractor cab.
Well, yeah. I mean, so here I am. right in front of me here, in front of this.
Okay.
This is the driver's seat right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got my closed cabinet here, refrigerator. Let me turn it up here.
Mhm.
Then I'm sitting on the bed. I got cabinets up behind me here. That's the side wall. I got a window right here.
Oh,
Okay.
Right here is the back of the cab. Right here. This is the back wall of the truck itself. And then,
I see.
So and then right behind the camera here, I have basically the same thing on the other side. So
Okay.
it's just a little bit longer than I am when I lay down. It's a full bed. I guess if you call this a full size mattress.
Mhm.
I don't know what your mattress sizes are in Australia, if you go full king queen or not.
Yeah,
We do.
Okay, so this would be a full size twin size mattress. So I got that in here. I got the cabinets in here. Basically, this is a little bit shorter this way than I am. I can stand up all the way without bumping my head, and then lay out full length this way.
Oh
wow.
That's
So
cool.
when they're looking at your room there, you got quite a bit of room. I actually I have less room in the truck than a prisoner in jail has.
Wow.
And
That's
the thing
crazy.
is, I got into here on purpose. I made a conscious choice to be here.
Yeah.
So if you can tolerate being alone
Mhm.
and being in these kind of confines for a really long period of time, every day, week after week, month after month, this is something that anybody can do.
Yeah.
I've
always wanted to travel.
Like
Get a little van and travel around. I'm a bit of a loner.
Well, that's
or
right.
a free spirit or a gypsy. So yeah,
I'd
I'd probably see that life.
Well, like I say, for me, this fits my personality. I'm a little bit more outgoing because of YouTube than I normally am. Normally, I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
So
I'm a bit of both. Like I'm introverted and extroverted, if that makes sense.
Well, no, I understand that position. Being, like I said, introverts understand that mentality. People who are always outgoing and whatnot. So, but people who are introverted are a little bit more secure with being alone. They don't. They don't need that contact every day.
No.
And especially if you know anything about human beings, you don't want to be around most of them anyway.
Yeah.
So if you can tolerate being by yourself on a daily basis, this isn't too bad of a way to go. I kind of put it as being on a camping trip by yourself, out in the middle of nowhere, right? There's nobody around you. Everything you need is right there with you. Being on a sailboat, in the Tasmanian Sea with nobody around in sight, everything you have is on that boat.
Yeah.
And that's close to what I have here on the truck. Yeah, I can get up and walk 30 seconds to the store here at the truck stop, or swing by the local grocery store if I can get the truck in there. Have everything on the truck, but pretty much it's really isolated for a lot of times, and some people can't handle that.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people can't handle being on their own.
Yeah. Well, not so much just being on your own, but just being a little bit more isolated.
Yeah.
If I want to get out and talk to somebody next to me, I can pop out and talk to them. But that's the great advantage about driving a truck nowadays with the cell phone. This thing.
Yeah. That's right.
In an instant, I can reach out and call you, and 2 seconds later,
Yeah. Exactly.
It's almost free to do so, which is amazing.
Yeah, it is. That's why YouTube is so good. We can all connect.
I find it amazing. Because when I was a child and we wanted to call back to the United States from Japan, one, we had to write a letter. I'm going to call you at this date, at this time. And when there's a 14-hour difference, you had to really coordinate that. We had to reserve a phone, not calling from our house, but calling from a phone dedicated for that overseas line.
Wow.
From Japan to America, to the East Coast of America. You only had 20 minutes, half an hour that call could be accomplished in, and it was expensive as all get out. $70-$80 to make that phone call for half an hour from Japan to the East Coast of America. Nowadays you pick up and hey, how you doing? And it costs you pennies. I could talk for 12, 13 hours and it probably cost me like $2. And it's amazing, the advantages that we have nowadays in the world.
I know. Even coming on StreamYard. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't even know that was a thing until a few weeks ago.
Yep. And I did the same thing. This I joined a couple other channels that you and I both subscribe to.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhonda Tolliver, got on her channel and joined StreamYard and said, "Hey, this is a great new technology. It's free, and I enjoy these kind of conversations. It makes it a little bit more personal than just reading the chat. When you can see somebody and talk to them face to face, it's just one of the miracles of modern technology that I just love.
I agree.
Yeah, granted, I do love, I like having my books on here or on the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I love being able to pull out a real book.
Yeah.
It's more personal for a real book. A ballpoint pen is great, but I prefer writing with a fountain pen. It's just I'm more in contact with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And the same thing here. I got the chat, but when I'm looking directly at somebody, even though they're 6,000 miles away, it just makes it a lot more personable. You can when you able to see somebody's expressions on their face.
Yeah,
it makes that
that's
conversation a little bit better for me.
That's why I prefer with channels that actually you can see their face.
Yeah. It definitely makes it a lot better. I mean, like I said, that's I signed up for StreamYard, a free service that lets me do this. I mean, I'm just amazed, that we can do these kinds of things.
Yeah, me too. It's really cool.
Yeah, me too. It's really cool.
All right, so a lot of people here know a bit more about me. Let's, what do you do, for a living? What's your experiences with YouTube and whatever else you want to say?
YouTube.
Well, I've only been on here for about 5 months.
and I do you know what
ASMR is?
I know very little about it.
It's hard to explain. It's like when somebody brushes your hair. I don't know if you've ever experienced it. It's a nice feeling. It's almost like a tingly feeling.
Okay.
Some people don't experience it, so they don't understand. But when I was young, I always experienced it and didn't know what it was called. And then I found it on YouTube. And so I started watching ASMR videos. And then I thought, well, I'm going to try and make one myself. A yes spoken word. You've said it right. Autonomous sensory meridian response. That's what it stands for.
Okay.
And it's really just sound and visuals that can trigger the tingly feeling or actually relaxation.
Okay.
But some people find it weird, which I understand.
Okay, so I never heard that particular term. The term I've always heard with something like that is called synesthesia, where one sense gets confused with another. Is that sort of similar?
I'm not sure. Really. They don't really know the science of why it happens or what it really is.
So do
So
you
I don't really know.
you experiencing it as like a heightened sense, or is it just an add-on to the normal sensation of touch and smell or taste?
Yeah, it's like another add-on, but it's like almost like a chill up the back of your spine over your head. But it's a nice feeling.
So kind of like an ice cream headache.
Yeah, but a good one. And there's so many channels that try to like sexualize it. That's why it's become a problem with YouTube.
Okay.
And it's not at all.
Okay. Well, normal human beings are, that's usually the way it's going to go.
Yeah. And I found that because I'm a musician, like that's my main job. I wanted to add that to my channel.
Okay.
But then I found people didn't really like that I added it because ASMR is about quietness. So I've kind of just been exploring with things on YouTube. I'm thinking of just leaving my name, like my channel, just as Stephanie Page, and then I can do what I want on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason why, when I started doing, posting videos on YouTube, I did it primarily as a diary of my trucking career.
Okay.
Not as, I want to get famous and I want to make money with it.
Yeah.
And I have added other types of video besides the standard vlog to, give the people who are subscribing to me a little bit something more than the same thing every single day. So like right now, I'm editing a warp speed video. So the entire day, I think it's like 3.5 hours of video I shot on November the 9th, I'm compressing down to like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And just, overlaying some music to it. And, that's basically all it is, And I have some people who really like that style of video. I don't do it for me, I do it for my audience.
And then,
some people like that. So, I try to put some of that in there. Which I enjoy doing that. I mean, it teaches me a lot about how to, put out a video that people like, and how to be as creative as I can with it, which there's not a lot of entertainment value that I can have on the truck. I mean, unfortunately, because of the way this truck is laid out in the sleeper bunk here that I'm in, I don't have a lot of room for the things that I want to have on the truck. I don't have my guitar on the truck. So
are you playing guitar too?
Learning. I'm a very poor learner.
That's okay.
I mean, I'm trying to learn classical guitar, traditional Spanish, flamenco.
Oh wow.
So, unfortunately, the nails aren't there where they need to be. But that's it. I still enjoy the learning process.
Yeah.
I played drums before in a marching band, and I played saxophone in school. So I have a bit of understanding of music and how to read traditional sheet music. But now learning guitar, I've also had to learn, how to deal with chords, which has been a big thing for me. And then also how to deal with reading tablature, which is, I find that more confusing than regular sheet music.
Yeah.
But your experience, is probably, I guarantee you're a lot more advanced than I am since you're making a living doing it, where I'm just, I wouldn't even say learning, I'm barely even learning because I don't have the thing on the truck anymore.
Yeah.
But
you have a good channel. You have your cooking and everything. I think it's versatile.
Well, like I said, I tried to present a little bit more of a complete package of the trucking life. You know, like a lot of truck drivers say, it is almost by necessity a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's right.
Because you're in this world for like for me, month after month after month. You know, I don't have a lot of time off. Now that's because I need to work so I can do what I want to do in the future by saving. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, I don't. You know, if I cook in the truck, I save a lot more money than if I go eat at a restaurant every single night. I mean,
Well,
Well, yeah.
I'm sure you know how expensive a restaurant can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
expensive.
expensive. Yeah.
If I'm spending $10 a day, 3 meals a day, plus snacks, plus drinks, you know, my paycheck
It
can
adds
go
up.
by
I
real
know.
quick. You know,
Exactly.
but when I cook here in the truck, I can do it for a quarter of the price, a fifth of the price. You know, like the last live feed I did, where I actually cooked burritos in the truck. Now, a burrito the size that I make, you know, like I said, I got some tortillas here. You know, that's bigger than my head. Not bigger than my ego, but bigger than my head. But like I said, if I got a tortilla this size from one of the local chains, you know, I could pay $7, $8, $9 for that burrito. Where I made it in the truck, and each burrito cost me under $3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of living that's kind of learning how to live the trucking lifestyle. You know, either I spend too much over here, or I save it here. And the fact that I like to cook, that's a big deal. You know, and like I said, when I lived in an apartment, it was the same thing. I could go out to the Chinese restaurant, or you know, the burger place or pizza every single day, and wind up with no money at the end of the month. So you know, I like cooking, so it just made it easier to cook at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's good to have a bit of variety.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a one. I have layers, you know. So like that's what I want my channel to be like.
Well, I said, like for me, it's a diary of my life as a truck driver. So it's not just driving the truck, which there are some channels that's all they show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I want something a little bit more. So when somebody looks back on it and says, "What did you do for this period of time?" You know, I can show them all aspects of it. You know, yeah, I would like to be in a real kitchen cooking. But here I am in a truck, so I don't have all the tools I want. I can't do everything that I want. You know,
Yeah.
I am really craving some good ice cream. But I don't have the freezer to be able to bring my
Oh, you don't have a little freezer.
You know?
Do you
Do you have a little fridge?
Yeah, this right here is my little refrigerator right here. There's up there, right? Yeah, these are some extra cameras on
Oh, okay.
on magnets for when I put them on the trailer. But that
I see.
that's smaller than what you would have at college.
Yeah, it is.
You know, that's
That's
it. But I have
true.
spices and demi-glace and butter and eggs and tomato sauce and I could put a few things in there, not a lot. I have to go to the store a lot more. And when I do buy the ingredients, I have to be a little more conscious of how many different ways, how many different types of meals I can make. So it's a little bit tougher, doing that. I wish I had a refrigerator that was the size of this cabinet. Pretty much, belly button high all the way to the floor. If I had a refrigerator this big, I'd be pleased as punch.
Yeah, that's right.
Granted, I'd rather have one that's a walk-in refrigerator like at a restaurant, but can't exactly go down the road with one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert
Says you cook a good rack of lamb.
I do a fair.
I mean
Steven, sorry.
A fair bit of cooking. You know, I have a few recipes that I really do like. I mean, if I had a regular traditional oven on the truck, man, there's almost nothing I couldn't do. You know, I could do a rack of lamb. I could do a good chuck.
I bet he is.
You know, I could do a beef Wellington. You know, if I wanted to. You know, but there's some things that I can do. I mean, I have a pressure cooker, so I could do beef bourguignon, which 99% of the truck drivers out here couldn't even pronounce beef bourguignon. But I can make that on the truck in about 30 minutes.
Can you cook a mean lasagna? That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. I do a pretty good lasagna. Like I said, if I had an oven, I'd be doing lasagna. That's one of my top favorite foods.
Yeah.
You know, right after pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie, lasagna, lima beans.
I've never had pumpkin pie. They don't have that here.
Well, you know, that's why you got to leave Australia and go somewhere. No things.
I'll come and visit you in the truck.
Hey, I have offered many of people free rides to see what it's like. So, you know,
this is a weird question. What do you do to shower and go to the toilet?
Well, at the truck stops, you know, there's several truck stop chains around the country. We have one called
really?
Pilot and Flying J. They're both of the same company because one bought out the other but just kept the name. We have another one called Loves. Then you have TA, which is basically Travel America, and Petro, which are those two are part of the same company now. Then you have some independent ones. They have showers, which the shower rooms are bigger than my truck.
Yeah.
For the most part. So they have full-on showers with a toilet, sink with a nice big mirror, you know, plugs for hair dryers, shavers, all that jazz. And where I gotta find it. But they have applications on the phone. So every basically 50 or 60 gallons of fuel that I put into the truck, I will get a free shower credit. So I can get a free shower basically every time I fill up. Now also, because I fill at the same truck company, the truck stop company, every month or every single time I fill up, I filled up 1,000 gallons of fuel. They give me a free shower every single day.
I
So,
see.
you know, a shower can typically cost $12.
Really?
You know,
Really? Wow.
For a shower. But there's no time limit. Unlimited water. Now, some people do stay in there for an hour or more, which, you know, other people need it, you know, especially when a truck stop can have 100 trucks in it. Some truck stops have 200, 300 spots. All those guys and girls need a shower too. So, but that's just basic courtesy whenever they need to get out of there. But
Yeah. What about the temperature? Like if it's hot or cold, does your truck get really cold or warm?
Well, last January, I was in Chicago. It was minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which is basically almost the same in Celsius, roughly.
Wow.
And then the wind chill brought it down to minus 50. Now, I wasn't driving this truck. I was driving a Kenworth at the time, and the company did not have an idle shut off, so it ran all night long. And by necessity, because the fuel in the truck will turn into a gel when it gets down to those temperatures.
I see.
So that's not good for the truck. The truck won't drive when it turns into a gel. It just clogs up the filters, and it just, you know, that's not a good situation to be in, especially at those temperatures, because there's only so many socks you can put on your feet. There's only so many blankets you can have on the bed. So when when it's that cold, the truck would ran all night. And then in the morning, it was still those temperatures, but I had to get out and secure my load and put a tarp over the load. That was pretty brutal cold. That was really brutally cold. You know, you work for 5 minutes, get back in, get the blood back in your fingers, you know, wrapping, you know, an extra shirt around your head, you know, so the only thing that's poking out was your eyes, because I always have a mustache.
Yeah.
So, you know, just breathing, there's instantly freeze on your mustache. You got big clumps of ice. And basically it feels like this. It feels like a bottle of Coke attached to your mustache. So, you know, and you know, that's quite uncomfortable.
I imagine it would be.
You know, minus 30 degrees, minus 50 degrees. Not exactly a fun time.
No, I've never experienced temperatures like that ever.
You don't want to. You know, they talk about how hot Australia can be. You know, 45, 50 degrees Celsius. You know, that's plenty hot. But a human being can adapt to that a lot easier than minus 50.
Yeah, that's right.
Cold will kill you faster than heat. So
we don't get like if you're in the Northern Territory, you would. But in Melbourne, it's not that hot actually. We only get a couple of months of really hot heat, and then it's cold again.
So how much snow do you get in a year?
I have no idea. We don't get snow where I am. You'd have right up in the mountains, but I wouldn't have a clue.
Right. Because people, you know, especially Americans, because we're kind of egotistical about it. You know, we don't have that concept of how you deal with it in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
I think you guys do it right, because when you show your maps, you show Australia on the top. So, you know, it's like, hey, you know, we got our way of looking at it. You got yours. It works. I've never really seen it snow in Australia. You know, any of the pictures I've ever seen.
Yeah. You have to go up into the mountains. I mean, there might be a little bit of snow on a random day, but not where I live.
Okay. Well, plus you guys are just coming to summer, so.
Yeah. We'll be in summer on December the 1st. But the weather hasn't been that nice. We used to get really hot springs, and now they're really cool. They're like it's winter.
Right. So how are you guys dealing with the fires that are going on?
They're up in Queensland and Sydney. We had really bad fires in Melbourne a few years ago, and they were terrible. Yeah, there's not a lot you can do though, can you?
No,
they have a really bad system where all the power goes out, the text messages don't go through, so that's why people are getting trapped.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, I'm here in California, in the Southern California in Los Angeles. They have something during the summertime called the Santa Ana winds. The winds come, down across the mountains, then they drop down, and they just speed up to like 150 kilometers. And it can be really bad, and the wind and the dust blows, and that's usually when they get a lot of fires, near Los Angeles, and it really is a scary thing when they start happening.
I know.
I just always wondered how you guys approached it, having sort of a similar, kind of environment as Southern California. How you dealt with that stuff.
Yeah, because what happened was they usually do back burning, and they like all the greenies complained, and they wouldn't allow them to do that. So now it's caused a greater problem, and there was terrible those fires that started up recently because of that. And we also always have arsonists. It's always teenagers that start them, and then we get the bad winds, and it picks it up, and they get worse.
Yeah, we may face that same kind of here. Oh, don't clear that brush out because some 3-toed snail, that's their environment. Well, when they get burnt up by a firestorm that's 45 stories high, what good is a pristine environment doing them?
I know.
I'm all for conserving the environment.
Yeah.
I think 99% of the people are, but unfortunately, it seems like rational thought goes out the door sometimes for some people.
Oh, exactly. In everything, actually.
Oh yeah. Oh wow! Look at it. Wow, this is my longest live stream I ever did. 3 hours.
I'm kept talking.
Well, unfortunately, let's see. It is just 9 p.m. here.
Oh, is
it?
So I am almost ready to go to bed because I have a 6 a.m. start.
That's
all
right.
To pick up my next load, which is an oversized load, which will be seen in the vlog as soon as I get it posted. So I'm
you need to move to Australia, Stephen.
Yeah. So I am a little over a month behind on my vlog, but that's the nature of it, right?
That's all right. Everyone seems to be doing live now.
Yeah, you know how that is. I'll get to it tomorrow. Then skip. It's like, okay, now I'm trying to do 5 vlogs in a day to try to catch up. But that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
All right,
well, I'll let you go.
Oh yeah. Well, Stephanie, it was definitely a pleasure to see you and talk to you. And I hope we can do this again.
We will.
I'll come back.
Right. Like I said, I have a lot of questions about Australia and about playing music.
I'll think of some things we can talk about too about Australia.
The one question I have: what is that little? I think it's in Sydney. They eat that little bug.
The witch negro?
I think that's what it's called. But it's a water beetle. It's a water beetle or something.
Is
it a long white thing? Like a worm?
No, it's like it's about yay big long. It looks kind of like I want to say like a horseshoe crab, a little bit.
Um.
I said you probably from Melbourne, and you probably don't have that over on that side.
I'm not sure.
No, I'll have to look that one up and send you a picture to see what it is. I saw it on the Food Network one time, and I'm going, okay, that's pretty interesting. Because I've been, like I said, I lived in Japan. I've been able to go to the Philippines, to Hong Kong. I've eaten some pretty strange things by American standards. So
they have some interesting food over there.
Oh, believe me, there's some things where if you eat there, you would be in trouble from the law eating them here.
Yeah. I can imagine.
But that's a cultural difference, which
it is.
That's we would never think about how you deal with a wallaby or a kick. What is it? What's that bird? That green bird that likes ripping up cars. I can't remember what the name of it is. We just don't have those kind of animals, so it's like
an emu or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, the closest we have are ostrich, which are all imported. So, people go for a ride or feed them, but that's the closest we get here. So
you have some scary animals. We can talk about that next time, like coyotes and stuff.
Well, coyotes they're just nasty dogs by comparison. They're kind of like the dingo.
People say they take their dogs away. That's scary.
Well, they can, but they're wild animals, so they're going to do what wild animals do.
Yeah, that's true.
I just think about the number of poisonous animals you guys have compared to what we have. It's like we're living in the Garden of Eden compared to what
Yeah, that was a spider in my house the other night. It was about that big.
Oh. No thanks.
I know. I don't like them either.
Most Americans' exposure to Australia is, Paul Hogan, that's pretty much the limit of most Americans' exposure to Australia.
No, we don't have Bigfoot, Stephen.
Well, you never know. Nobody's ever seen him in America.
That's true.
So he probably got on a Qantas flight. He's touring Tasmania.
He's probably hiding in the outback.
Yeah, he's hanging around with the little Tasmanian devils. All right. Well, unfortunately, like I said, I got a bit of work to do finally.
Yeah.
After a week of doing nothing, so I have to let everybody go. Stephanie, thank you very much for joining me here.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Looking forward to seeing you again and talking some more food, music, quantum physics, whatever we can talk about. And
Sounds good.
we will go from there. So I just want to say thank you all for joining us. Glad to have you in. God bless and everybody be safe.
Bye,
Talk to you later.
everyone.
All right. Goodbye.